Hello and Happy New Year. These will be my final words that I'll have to present to you on the year of 2020. I I can't believe that this year is over. I mean, right now, there's still a few hours left of this year, but still I have a hard time believing that 2020 is over. The reason why because this I think generally speaking, most people believe that this is the worst year. It's a pretty bad year. Generally speaking. A lot happened this year to people in the world. Uh, Most obviously, the global pandemic just happened. Stuck inside, wearing masks, uh, can't speak to people. A lot of people died, which is sad. But we're fine here. Uh, it's an interesting year. Yeah, everyone's gonna agree. It's a year that sucked. I mean, it began with like just nervousness about YouTube and Copa. I remember like that was our biggest fears, like in the beginning of 2020. And of course, I remember when the first case of COVID came to the United States. I remember everyone online was going, "Oh, okay, here it comes, people. Let's prepare for this big thing that's coming." And it became bigger than I thought it was. I didn't really take it too seriously at the beginning. I mean, I took it seriously enough and complied with things, but I was just kind of, you know what? I don't really care. I'm. It's not something that's going to affect me too much. I'm a healthy enough person. I'm young. I'm not within the age group that has to worry too much about this, and so I didn't really care if I got it. But I still don't really care too much now. But I'm more concerned about it than I was then. Because, there's a whole year we've lived with this pandemic, and you know what? We are one step closer to defeating it. That's for sure. So, 2020, pandemics, Kappa. A lot of news of celebrities dying, of celebrities doing bad things, of there's a lot of loss this year. A lot of loss of iconic figures, of good players, of all the people who died because of COVID. A lot of loss, but you know what? We will remember them in our hearts, and we'll live on their legacy. Uh, Another big thing in COVID land is just all the businesses shutting down. I think that's the one that I dislike the most. Besides death, but it's like having the restaurants closed down, especially those that go out of business. Movies being shut down, TV shows not be able to continue filming for the remainder of their season, which means we cut things short. Yeah, entertainment this year was just kind of dependent on things that were filmed before the virus, and those who were lucky enough to film during the virus. Um, Luckily enough, we had some Star Wars content, so that's good. That's always great to have. But you know what? That means that 2021, there's a back order, a backlog of films that were delayed. And you know what? They're coming this next year, hopefully. And that means that we're going to have a pretty good 2021 in terms of just that factor. Everyone's saying that 2021, they just can't wait for it. I always joke, that's like, huh, you know what? Like, why are we so eager to leave 2020? Like, is it possible 2021 could get worse? It's always possible. But, I understand. It's strange. I also find it interesting that they think that as soon as the new year happens, it's like, okay, now things are getting better. Because it's not 2020. It's like we think that things just happen in a year. They don't. They happen in a period of time. And periods of times can take a really long time sometimes. So yeah. in terms about me in 2020, honestly, I had a pretty good year. The year started with just me and Dwight, watching things, having fun. He goes off, he gets married. Uh, COVID happens. I stay at home during the summer, but that just means I stay at home, watch shows, watch movies, just have a good time, just staying at home. My parents, they come home after a year of not seeing them, so that's great. It's nice to have them home again. And then in the fall, man, the fall of 2020, I had a really good time. I had a lot of opportunities to work in my profession, in theater, and also in voiceover. Um, I auditioned. I had a lot of auditions, a lot of opportunity to do some work. I didn't get a lot of work, but I had the opportunity to audition, and that was just, oh, that's a blessing. I love that. Um, Even just the 50 auditions for voiceover that I did, I didn't get a single role, but I just loved that I was able to audition. For theater, man, I had some good theater. I worked backstage on a musical that was supposed to be done in the spring that we pushed back in the fall. Finally, we gave able to do that. I actually acted in a small show. Even though it's a small show, it's like my first acting performance in like a year, almost 2 years now. And then I did some more backstage work on another show a few weeks ago, and that's good. And of course, I'm confirmed to work backstage in another show coming this spring, which I'm happy that I've been given this opportunity. And also, yeah, I did some voiceover for something that's going to be coming out in a few years from now. But you know what? It's fun. I love the opportunity that I got. I'm so happy that I had this opportunity. But yeah, in terms of just how the pandemic just affected me, it didn't really affect me too much. It affected just my channel, I guess, because I think because of the pandemic, I decided to just take a step away from doing reaction videos, and I'm glad that I don't have to worry about doing reaction videos um anymore. I've kind of somewhat retired from them now. And so going into 2021, just don't expect reaction videos to happen. There may be one or two that may happen, but they're on just a time basis of whenever that happens. So I'm glad that I'm finally retired from this. I can now focus on other things. So yeah, there's 2020. A bad year for the world, but generally I had a good year. So 2021, what would I think I want to do? I want to take a step back from the YouTube channel stuff. The things that I can be expected is just the podcast, reviews for Veggie Tales, and just like any of the small reviews, things that I just upload whenever they happen. Uh, I don't really want to focus too much on just working on YouTube stuff and social media. I want to focus on myself, on life. I want to just get myself more involved in my career, in theater, in voiceover. Get myself more involved in work and schooling, because I could finish off my final year going on. And yeah, I'm just setting myself up for the future. I can't just constantly be focused on my YouTube channel. I gotta focus on life, gotta focus on the work, gotta focus on God. And I think that with that in mind, I should have a pretty good 2021, considering nothing more happens. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this past year, and hopefully this next year I have a good time. So yeah, see you then.